Right to bear arms? Do you have that right? Who gave you that right? Who did you hire to help you defend and protect that right? Did you make them swear, affirm an oath to defend and protect your right to bear arms? Well, did they get hired and paid to do it? What did they agree would happen if they attacked your rights? Or legislatively, chartered agencies or licensed corporations or businesses or contracted with any others, and then those attacked your rights. And all the while, the legislature claimed there was nothing they could do about that. And the other two branches were idle in protecting your rights too. Interesting questions. Look at those claws. Look at those arms. You have the right to bear arms? Well, do ya? Do ya? You want to find out? Okay. Would you believe your eyes and mind if you read the proof of your full authority? Or are you so intimidated and taken by the lie that you do not have the right to bear arms unless the legislature writes and gives you that right, and you comply with all their terms and conditions if you want them to be nice to you and give you that right? Let us look at this written evidence and let the evidence speak to your eyes and mind. Keep in mind that our constitutions are the contract. Our constitutions are the trust indenture. Our constitutions are compacts. Not like makeup, but they are compacts. And all government servants have signed the contract and are bound to comply, lest the penalties apply. Come, let us reason. Allow our minds to be transformed. Let written evidence and proof of the real law free your mind to accept your powers, yes, your authority over all government. Many government servants and other men have beaten your mind with lies. Many government servants have even dared to call themselves your leaders, while they have sworn to be your servants. See, your servants, see them for what they are. See your servants for what they are. They are like robots with the duty and obligation to serve you and benefit you at all times. If they malfunction, maladministrate, then they can be removed from their seat of office, turned off. They are legally liable for their conduct. If they have harmed you, then the contract states you get redress for your grievances, harms, and can ask for it of any of the three branches. They must do it fast, pronto, to avoid further harm. They can't be allowing the harm to continue, because every single day and every single second of your life is super important. And so they must quickly, they are duty bound, obligation bound, contract bound to protect your rights. So if a certain group of government servants have attacked your rights or have failed to protect your rights as they're supposed to, then they're supposed to give you redress for your grievances. And now those servants who receive your request, your notice, your petition, asking for your grievances to be redressed, and they fail to do it, now they're culpable. I love that word, culpable. They are now in trouble because now they are in breach of the trust. They are breaking the law, the written law, because you see, the law is in the contract and they agreed to it. And they got a job because they agreed to it. And they got paid because they agreed to it. Now they're enjoying all the benefits of being hired by the people as our servants, and yet they don't want to comply with the terms, the reasons why we hired them. The reasons why we hired them, they don't want to do that. They just want to get the paycheck. They just want to get the fame and their name. Oh, look at, I'm the senator. Oh, look at me, I'm the governor. Look at me, I'm president. And look at me, I'm the president. Well, they want all that, but they don't want to read the contract. Are you telling me that they just simply swear to defend and to support the Constitution of the state and the Constitution of the United States, and then they really don't read it? They just swear they're going to do it, and then they take the oath and they sign the contract and they say, yep, this is me. And now we allow them to work, but the whole entire time, they really weren't intending on complying with the terms. They just wanted to take our seats of office and sit there in what belongs to us, because everything in government belongs to the people. Nothing belongs to servants. They're just servants. We allow them to come in, take a seat here. You're going to be your little office right here. Over here, this is the janitorial supplies over there. Okay, and I'm going to allow you to use this computer right here, so you could do the work for me, for my behalf, in my place, because you're going to be my substitutes. You're going to do the work that has to be done, but I'm busy over there, so I'm hiring you to be right here, doing the work for me here. And then they don't want to do it. They just want to sit there and get the money coming into their pockets, and they don't want to do it. Well, when someone's in a contract with another one, they can't breach the contract, because then penalties apply. And this particular contract, our constitutions are the contract. They're a trust indenture. They are a compact. That is where the terms are that they swore to. And there are mandatory things and there are prohibitory things, and they already agreed to it. Now they have to perform, or they are in serious trouble, because the penalty's already built in there and they already agreed to those. They didn't say, oh no, I would love to agree to this contract, except that can you remove those penalties, please? Because jeepers, they're pretty steep. I'm reading here a word. What does it say here? It says maladministration. Oh my gosh. You mean I could lose my seat of office for being inadequate for the job? You could remove me for maladministration? That's too big. What the heck is this word? It says treason. Am I agreeing to that? They agreed to it, folks. They agreed to it. They voluntarily, because nobody forced their little behinds, nobody forced them to get in there and work for the people and become servants of the people. Nobody forced them. They wanted that position. They wanted to work for us. And now they're stuck with all the terms. They're stuck with all the terms. Stop being oppressed by your servants. Let us remind them of the contract they swore to and all the terms therein. In there. Therein, in there. All the terms therein. All the terms therein. All the terms therein. All the terms, all the terms, all the terms. Hey, little servant over there that you wanted to be my servant, the servant of the people, all of y'all. Did you guys read the contract? You better go do it now so that you don't harm the people in any manner whatsoever, because the people now know what the real law is and they're going to hold you accountable. What does that mean? Well, I'll explain to you in a moment what that means. But servants, you're not going to like it too much. But people, we're going to love it very much. Okay, look. Yes, 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 yes. It is good that you know that you have rights. And believe me, there are different kinds of rights. You can say the word rights, but once you get studying, you will understand that there are different types of rights. Some that are glued onto you so tightly that nothing can remove them from you but God, because He's the one that put them there and glued them to your chromosomes. He did. Those are called inherent rights. Okay, so yes, it is good that you know that you have rights. It is good you know they swore the oath of office. But it is not good enough. Let me explain. It is not good enough if you do not know how to point to the contract term they are breaching or about to breach. It is not good enough if you do not show it to them in a way that gets them in trouble if they do not hurry to protect your rights and restore you and give you your property back and restore you in a way as though you have not been harmed. They need to do it quickly. They need to not delay. You and your loved ones must know. Otherwise, unfaithful, not the faithful ones, but I'm talking about the unfaithful. Unfaithful, and I quote, forget to read that what I swore to protect type servants can ignore you and say you never told them. It has to be on the record. Then, if they ignore you, they become extra super in trouble and lawful legal penalties will apply. So now, if everything would be right now as it's supposed to be, where the servants actually read what's inside the contract, if they read it, they know what it is that they swore to protect and defend at all times. If they actually read it and knew, well, then you wouldn't have to remind them, because they would know, and it would be a great day every day. Every day would be happiness. Happiness day today. Hey, what day is it? Is it Monday, Tuesday? Oh, today is happiness day. That's what day it is today. Sunday? You mean every day is a Sunday? Yeah, every day is happiness day. All right. But the problem is that because we didn't know our full authority, we didn't know our full powers, because unfaithful servants neglected their duty and obligation to teach the rest of the people, all of the people, from kindergarten all the way up to super college, to college, and that university. Yeah, super college. Well, they neglected to do that job, and they're in trouble for that, you see. So now we, the people, are going running around, waking everyone up and letting everyone know what their full authority is, what their full powers are. We're letting everyone know, and I am one of many voices doing it, okay? So let's do this. Let's learn together and make it every day a wonderful day, happiness day. Because, you see, some government servants, when they swore, they just really didn't read. But so we're going to have to point to the contract, see? Because otherwise they can ignore you. They can ignore you. They can say, oh, yeah, well, you have rights. But see, are we talking about civil rights? I mean, what kind of rights are we talking about? I mean, are we talking about rights as an employee somewhere in some company? You get the little rights of using fancy hand lotion in the bathroom, and what are you talking about, rights? Oh, you mean the inherent rights? You mean the God-given rights that no man better, go against God about? Because when they attack you, when any man or woman attacks someone's inherent rights, they're really, really going against God. They're really, really, really offending God. They're sinning against God. They're attacking God, reaching up into the sky, waving their hands in a very rude way. They're hurting us because we belong to God. We are His people, and He created everyone. And God doesn't want one that he created to harm the other one that he also created. Doesn't matter. He doesn't want anyone of any place to harm any other one of any place, because he's a wonderful God. But of course, a lot of people don't believe in him, and that's another story. But they don't believe in him, and that's a thing for some other conversation. But right now, in our nation, this nation is under God. He's our King. He's our Lord. He's our captain of hosts. He's the one we look to, the one we consult with, the one that tells us how things should be and what we should do and what we should not do. He tells us, and we listen. We are his. We have to obey him. And it's great to obey him because he only tells us to do good things. He doesn't tell us to do bad things ever. So it's good to obey him because it benefits us to obey him. He helps us to avoid getting hurt. If we obey him, this is what, when you do this right, when you don't harm each other, you're all going to be happy. You're all going to be blessed by me. You're going to flourish. You're all going to have plenty of plenty. But be good to each other. But people don't want to believe in him. They want to believe in other gods, and that's y'all can believe in whatever you want to believe in, because then I don't have to address you. God will address you at his good time. I don't have to do anything to you or, call you names or anything. He says, hey, God is going to address you, and he will, do an accounting about that. You'll do an accounting about that to him. Okay, so what's going on now, since we weren't aware of our rights, and now we are becoming aware of our rights, and we're learning a lot. So now there is a way to tell them, hey, this is what you swore to. Look what it says here. Isn't it so that this is what you swore to, right? You tell me if that's not what you swore to. It's not what you swore to? Well, what does it say there in that term? Doesn't it say there that you're supposed to defend and protect our rights at all times? Doesn't it say that you are our servants? But that's what it says. Do you disagree with that? Show me where it says that you're not our servants. Show me where it says that you're not our substitutes. Show me where it says that you can attack our rights. Because, after all, it says you're hired to protect our rights. Let's just talk about this, because we want to be fair with you. We want to give you an opportunity to realize the error of your ways, and we would like for you to repent, which means turn away from doing wrong and turn and face and start doing good. Start doing good, guys. That's what we're asking for you to do. When you don't know, please turn around, read what's in there, and begin to do the right thing. Because, you see, we have to be merciful because God is merciful. So we have to be merciful. We don't have to be merciful if you really don't ask us to be merciful. If you prefer justice, we can give you justice, and there's justice to be had because there are penalties already written in this contract. So we could do that instead if you prefer justice and not mercy. Myself with God, I prefer mercy. And I go, oh, dear Lord, I prefer mercy from you, Lord. I'd rather get forgiveness. I'd rather receive forgiveness and start fresh with him. I'd rather do that than get justice and get my ouchies that I deserve. Okay? So the same way, we have to show them, and we have to make sure it is on the record. See, it has to be on the record, because then if they ignore, they become extra, super in trouble, and lawful and legal penalties will apply. So put it on the record, and if you don't, and let me tell you what's in me. I don't trust lawyers. I don't trust attorneys. I don't. That's me. That's for whatever I have seen. You can trust them. You can go ahead and put your confidence in them. I do not. For what I have seen, I do not. Now, so what we have seen is that, accidentally or not, people are taught things that are not true by attorneys. And like it or not, deliberately or not, when the people's rights are attacked and harmed, there's usually some attorney or another somewhere in there, in that connected in that activity. Like when they take you to some court-like place and they put you through court-like procedures, which are not what is guaranteed to the people in our constitutions, in the contract, because we are guaranteed constitutional due process. So for some weird reason, it's attorneys that are, scooting people along through these procedures that then result in the people losing their property. And remember, all of your rights are your property. Your time is your property. Your money is your property. All of your rights that you can think of, they're your rights, the written ones and the not written ones, they're your property. And if, for example, they took your time putting you through these procedures, that's taking your time. Your time has been taken from you, and your happiness has been interrupted. And you haven't been as happy as you could have been if they would have let you alone and in peace and not bothered you with things they should not have bothered you about. Rights that you already have guaranteed, now they go and help attack those. But wait a minute, these are constitutionally guaranteed rights. Why are you, bar member, helping to attack these rights? Did you not read the constitutions either? The Bill of Rights and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Rights of the People, so that you make sure that you don't harm the people? Because you do call yourselves, and everybody knows you as officers of the court. That's what the government servants call you, officers of the court. To be an officer of the court dealing in the law, shouldn't you know what the law is? Because the highest law in our nation, in every state, it's written in the constitutions, not in statutes, not in ordinances, not in regulations, not in policies. No, not that junk. The highest law is in our constitutions. That's right. And so if you guys know the law, then how is it that you are not really applying the correct law that applies to the people? How are you making that mistake? Don't you study? You study for years before you get licensed. Don't they study, you guys? You guys don't know that the bar members they study for years and years to be licensed? Look into who licensed them. It isn't our government servants that license them. Anyway, that's another talk for another day, but here you go. You know what to do. It has to be on the record. And by the way, as a people, and I am one of the people of the 50 states, Republican in form, I am one of the people, and I have constitutionally guaranteed rights. And I don't go to the United States Constitution to explain and show my rights. I go to the state constitutions, the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Rights, to show my rights. And I have those constitutions. They have written there what the government servants already guaranteed that they would protect and defend. Actively defend. And one of those things is freedom of speech, freedom to express my opinions. And they can't attack me for that. No one that is chartered or licensed under them can attack my right. Because if they do, they're going to be liable for that attack. Legally liable for that attack. If my freedom of speech is interfered with, trespassed, encroached in any manner whatsoever, they're going to be liable. They're going to have to restore me for that grievance. They're going to have to give me redress of grievance for that grievance, that they are attacking my freedom of speech and my freedom to talk to all of you, fellow one of the people. Okay, now, each one of the people is master, boss, owner of all government and have servants, not leaders, working in government to benefit you. The people have seen the proof that we are masters of all government in the entire United States of America, including of the District of Columbia, aka United States, because the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., that constitution, that government, group of government where the president is, the Congress people, those people that are really famous because they've been in the news a lot. That is one constitution of the many constitutions. There are 51 active constitutions right now. And actually, there are the Bill of Rights and Declarations of Rights, even of the old ones, they still apply. In other words, whatever expresses our greatest rights and greatest freedoms and greatest liberties and greatest everything that benefits us, that is what applies right now. So, now there's a place we don't go. And you'll get more of this later, but for all you guys, please just use your state constitutions to show and point to your rights. Show right there what it is they're about to breach, what it is they are breaching, and what it is, if they already breached it, what it is you're getting redress of for your grievance, what it is that you want to be restored about. How do they hurt you? Okay, they're not supposed to hurt you when they're hired to protect you. All right. Okay, the cat is out of the bag. Let me say it again. The cat is out of the bag. The people have seen the written evidence and yes, the proof that all three branches are people hired and sworn in to be servants of the people, sworn to defend and protect the people's individual rights, all of them, to the most seemingly insignificant one, or face the penalties therein, in there. So, when we say the cat is out of the bag, we mean that the knowledge is now had. The people know. The people have the knowledge now. The people know they have these full powers and authorities over all government and over all government workers. The cat is out of the bag. The information is out. We know already. We know now. And we're going to use our authority. So please behave yourselves, servants. Behave yourselves and comply with the terms of the contract, and all it will be well. Many servants have partaken in harming the people, some knowingly, some not. See, not all of them knew that or know that they're harming us. They think that they're just they're following orders, especially since they're surrounded by bar association members of a private group of men and women. They're in the private by themselves with their own private things and agendas and goals, and that they work in all three branches. Is that breaking the separation of powers, guys? Is that our servants allowing them to break separation of powers? Term of the contract? Well, that's for another video. Here. So in other words, they have done it knowingly, some of their servants, and some of them just didn't really know because, they're thinking they're just following orders from their employers and the one above them that hired them, and they think, well, this is what they're telling me to do, and I'm going to do this. But then there is no excuse once they find out what the truth is, what the real lie is. There will be no excuse after that if they continue and insist on doing wrong and harming the people. So right now, they better quickly start reading what they're supposed to be reading, the contract, so they know that they're in good standing with the people. They are in a good place, safe place of not harming the people. We will see them tell on themselves and let us know if they wish to be faithful or treasonous. They're going to tell us because their behavior will show us. Their behavior is going to show us if they want to be faithful, they want to do good, or if they want to be the kind of servant that's treasonous. I mean, it's up to them to tell us by their actions, right? So if they wish to do all they do within the law, the written law, not imaginary law, not wishful thinking law, not whatever they decide, this is the law, guys, because I say so. I'm the servant, but I'm going to boss all you masters around. No, they cannot create laws that benefit them. They can only write things that benefit the people. And they're not laws. They're not the highest true laws. They're not real laws. They're just government, corporation, bylaws. And they call them laws for short. For short. They decide to make that short. But it's really things that are created for government personnel. Okay, so if they wish to do all they do within the law, the written law, or outside the law, and be outlaws, they're going to show us, they're going to tell us by their actions. We're going to pay attention. Now we know to pay attention. Now we know to give them proper notice that puts them in notice that we know that you're, the contract says this, but you're doing that over there. You're not doing what the contract says. You're not benefiting us when you take up our time, arrest us for things that you say is not our right, and it is our right, and then you arrest us and use up our time, and then we get hurt, and then we have expenses, and we have trouble with the family. And then our good name gets smeared, because you cannot smear our name either, our reputation. You cannot smear that by the neighbors watching. Oh no, look at that. Yeah, they're being handcuffed. They're being arrested. Well, what did they do? Well, they went out they went to work. They went to give somebody a haircut, and they went to work, and now they're being arrested because the government servants told them to stay home, and the masters, they were hungry and their kids were hungry, and so the masters decided to go to work and give someone a haircut to get some $50 so they can go home and buy some food for their kids, and now they're being arrested. Wow. See, that's smearing their good name. You have a right, a redress of grievance for that harm, because if you were arrested for something that you should not have been arrested for, then your good name was smeared. You have your reputation, it's been damaged. And so you have a right to redress of grievance for that harm. They owe you, the government is already set up, it's already in the contract that they are to restore you as though you were not harmed. That's in the contract, they agreed to it. That's why they shouldn't be harming us. That's why they shouldn't have a job that has a very dangerous contract to agree to, and then willy-nilly don't even bother to read it, and then just start handcuffing people and offending people and making them do things they're not allowed to do. Like if they they make you wear a pointy hat that day. Every Monday you have to wear pointy hats on your head, because scientists have discovered that on Mondays it is beneficial for the society. It is a compelling public interest for society that you wear a pointy hat on Mondays. It's good for the psychological well-being of the people, whatever their scientists say. Oh, so now they have to boss us around? No, they don't have the right to tell us what to do or what not to do. They have zero authority to tell us what to do or what not to do. They can recommend things to us if it's within the contract, if it's part of that particular position. But they can't tell us what to do, because they're the ones that are governed. The people are not the ones that are governed. And I showed you that in other videos, and I'll keep on showing you again till everybody gets it. Till we all know the truth. That's why repetition is actually good, because it sticks to your head. You know that the bad, not the good ones, but the bad government servants, that's how they use to brainwash the people. They use repetition. They repeat and repeat and repeat. Have you not noticed when some news people, they repeat the same thing, and then the other one on the other channel, they repeat the same thing, and they repeat over, like sort of like trying to hypnotize you. Believe this. I want you to believe this lie. I will repeat it over and over. Wow, that's what they use. But repetition is actually good, because when you go to school, you repeat your timetables, and eventually you will memorize them, right? You repeat lyrics, and then you memorize the lyrics. You have to repeat them. You have to really think about them. So this is good to have repetition. So I'm going to be repeating a lot of things, and in this video and the other videos, because it has to be all tied together, and we all have to know, because we all are going to have beautiful lives from now on. We're going to know, because now we know that we're the bosses, we're the masters, we're the owners, actually, the owners too of all government. We own everything. So did you know when they do business with another country, we're really supposed to be getting some of that income coming in, some of that money, because it's ours. We own it. Or does it get all smeared with the workers? They just get higher and higher paychecks until it all gets stuck. Hey, there's another $20 million to account for here. We don't want to give it to the people. Okay, let's give ourselves a pay raise so it stays with us. I mean, is that what's happening? I'm asking a question. Is that what is happening? Well, they're supposed to be accountable to us, so we're going to have to look into it to see if that is what is happening. And if it's not, then it's all good. But we have a right to, they have to be accountable to us at all times, so we have a right to have an accounting. Knowing and letting them know, the government servants know, that we know is what is going to send a wind of change for the good of all the people in the United States of America. You have to say the complete name of America. Don't stop, don't cut it short and say the United States. Don't do it. That's just the District of Columbia, 10 square mile thingamajiggy, whatever, it's hard sometimes. Is it 10 square mile, 10 something, whatever. Looking, I forget. I keep forgetting. Anyway, it's a place, it's very small, and it is called the United States. Washington, D.C. Used to be District of Columbia, right? Okay, so make sure that when you say it, you say the United States of America. All right? Anyway, it's a 10 square mile. So, to fix wrongs and stop wrongs, you must read all. This is your homework, folks. This is your homework. To fix the wrongs and stop wrongs, you must read all the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Rights in all 50 state constitutions, so you know what the terms of the contract are, so that you know. Because once you know, you can prevent them. If you see they're about to infringe on any of your rights, you can prevent them from doing it and save yourself a lot of heartache. But if they already did it, you have to know what it is they did wrong, what contract term they breach, and now you get redress of grievance for that. So you need to know. We all do. We all need to know. And you tell your kids, because they're not telling our kids in our schools. They're failing to do it. You have to do it because you love them and you want them to be able to, be the highest, the best educated. You want them to have the best jobs they possibly can, and you want them, once they gather their belongings, and they have a house and they have a car, you want to make sure that it doesn't get taken from them by trespassing government servants or their agencies that they licensed or their corporations that they chartered. You don't want them to attack you, right? So you need to make sure you know and you know how to show them, so that, because if you just give them a call on the phone, that doesn't put it on the record. If you send them an email, just a regular email with not the right words and not the right law in it, well, that doesn't really put it on the record. They'll ignore it. So you have to know what to put in your notices. So come and learn. Please come and learn together with us. Okay, let's do this. Let's fix it, because one of us fixes one thing, the other one fixes something else, and we all win. We all get the whole thing fixed. Okay, between all of us, we're going to get this place cleaned up and dusted and swept and all the garbage thrown out. So use those to express your rights. For newbies at correcting government, listen to this, avoid expressing your rights with the United States Constitution. Because for some reason, there are many hurdles, hoops, loops, pits, and dips. There are, I am telling you, just do not use it for now. When you learn more, then you'll have the reason and you go, oh, that's why she was saying not to use that. I get it now. So to avoid that headache of learning the hard way, please just don't use it. Look, it says everybody goes to the United States for I got freedom of speech. Well, I got a right to bear arms. Oh, I have whatever right they want to assert and say they've got this amendment and that amendment and that amendment of the United States Constitution. No, don't do that. It's in your state constitutions. You want to show you have a right to bear arms? Look at your state constitutions and look at other states' constitutions, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Rights, because you can use them too. They're yours, all of them, and I'll show you why. Okay, use the state constitutions. That is where a treasure trove of your rights are written, that are easy to show and easy to use to keep unfaithful servants accountable, to make sure that the faithful ones do not become unfaithful. You have to make sure that no harm comes to you or your family before it happens, because we have a right. If somebody's being inadequate, they're showing by their actions that they don't know what they're doing. They're talking funny. They're saying that they are the people's leaders. They're saying things like, we have a democracy instead of a republic, which is guaranteed to every state. That is guaranteed that every state must be a republic. And now we'll talk to you about that in other videos. And if they start saying, no, this is a democracy, well, that means they're being reckless. If they don't secure our borders and keep us safe, because our safety is priority, is our well-being, our safety is priority. They have to defend our rights. And unknown people coming through unsecure borders, that puts us in danger. How many people have you heard, oh, they got run over by someone who came across the border and we didn't know who they were and blah, blah, blah. Just walked in and then just started being reckless and ran them over. And by the way, the people that got arrested did a horrible thing. They got let loose. They were released. Now, the people themselves, they don't get released. It's people that are from other nations that get released. You can go home. You can go and do more harm. Well, that is why I'm telling you, you have to prevent that. And you have to come learn how to do that, please. So, do you have the right to bear arms? The United States, aka District of Columbia, that one constitution is not the only one to have the contract term right to bear arms. The government of the United States, aka Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, that place, is sovereign. Yes, it is sovereign. Yes, it is sovereign. Only in the limited and very specific list of things the people wrote that they must do for the people's benefit. They are to do only those things and nothing more and nothing beyond granted authority. The people never granted them authority to trespass, infringe, encroach, interfere with, or hide our constitutionally guaranteed rights that they guarantee to protect and defend if we hired them. No. So you see, they are sovereign, but we discussed in other videos that there are about 18 things. I counted 18 things. You can separate them out and go and repeat. Like for example, that United States government, the easiest thing that you could think of, let's say they were hired and commanded by the people in writing to coin money. All right, let's just look at that. They were hired by the people to be our servants, to be our substitutes and agents, and be there in our place, coining money, making sure that it looks uniform, that it's easy to identify, the right metal is put into it, the right size, the right everything, right? The coin metal. Therefore, they have to have a building, they have to have other servants working, the artist who does the design, the people who maintain the machines, etc. They are sovereign in coining money, right? Or the other one that's really easy, doing commerce with other nations, right? So that's easy. That is where they are sovereign. They never, ever received from us granted authority to do anything outside the listed things, the 18 things. So when you see they do anything, read those things, and when you see they do anything that's not in the list, where'd they get that authority? Who gave them that authority? Did they give it to themselves? Did another nation give it to them? Did it come from the pit of hell? Where did that authority come from? And you have to hold them accountable whenever they do things outside the authority that the people granted. You have to give them a chance, tell them, point it out, point the term, show them where the contract terms are, and show them, well, this is what you were hired by the people, the ones with all political power. You were hired by the people to do these things. How is it that you are now doing other things? Because it's not written in there. Oh, you think you can do things that are not written? Well, that's called doing things that are not with authority of the people. And you can't exist doing things outside the authority of the people. You cannot be the people's servant. If you want to be in the private world, if you want to be out doing your own thing, well, do your own thing. But you can't use the people's money and the people's building and the people's computer and all the people's belongings to do what you wish to do. You were not hired to do what you wish to do and what your friends wish to do and what your group of buddies wish to do. You were not hired to be our leaders and come up with ideas of what you want to do. That is not what is guaranteed to the people. See? We have constitutionally guaranteed rights, and they are in writing. And your duties and obligations, they're in writing. You have mandatory things, prohibitory things. You are sovereign. Those servants over there are sovereign in those few things. But the people, since the people never knew what those things were, I never knew. I was one that I had no clue what they were hired to do. I thought they were hired, they could do anything. They whatever. I mean, I thought that if we elect someone with a kind heart, maybe they will have pity on us and have mercy and be kind to us and not hurt us so much and not kick us in the rear end so much. It hurts. After a while of getting kicked, it hurts. You start getting the bruises and the bleedings. It hurts. So you start feeling not good. So I thought they could do whatever, and we had to pick kind-hearted servants. Oh, let's see, does this one look like he has a kind heart? Oh, he's talking like he cares for us. He sounds like he cares for the people. We'll vote for him because he sounds like he has a kind heart, or she has a kind heart. No, you know what? Republican, Democrats, or independents, or whatever party they're in, it doesn't matter. Every single one of them is under our control because every single one of them has to obey the written law in the contract. None of them can do what they wish to do of their own ideas. They may only and are only authorized to do what we tell them to do in writing and what they swore to and agreed to. That's what they have authority to do. Anything else, they're on their own. They're acting like thugs. They're acting like criminals. They're doing harm to the people when they are doing things outside of authority. But you don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. Then I read those things and I was shocked. I read those things and I was surprised. I was like, I had to like really sit down and just lean back on my chair and think about it. What the heck did I just read? Is that all they're hired to do? What are they talking? All this talk about their sovereign. They love talking about their sovereign, the law of the land. Yes, in those things they were hired to do. In those freakazoid things they were hired to do. That's where they're sovereign. They're not sovereign over the people. Never. They're never sovereign over the people. We are created free and independent by God Almighty. That's right. And they better not fight with God Almighty because they will lose. We're not doing anything to them. They're fighting with God. God will address it. He will address it. He has unusual ways of addressing stuff. Sometimes, if you read it, sometimes the earth opens up and swallows them up whole. Sometimes he addresses it that way. Sometimes, no matter what armor they've got on, somehow this seemingly rogue arrow just finds the little crevice and gets in there. That's what he has done. That's what he has done. Sometimes, wow, he does things unusual. He sends things falling from the sky. Sometimes he sends bugs. He sends a lot of bugs to do really nasty things like spooky stuff. That's what he has done. We read it that's what he has done. He will address it his way if they fight against God, because harming the people is fighting against God. Harming the people is going against God and, being, how can I say it? It's like cursing him. It's like being so offensive to him. They're busting up what he created. It's like if you build a really nice playhouse for your daughter in the backyard and some bonehead neighbor comes over and then tears it up and uses it for lumber in his fireplace because he didn't think it's good for a little girl to have a playhouse. They should be doing something else according to him. Now, that's wrong, isn't it? You would get hurt. You would be unhappy that neighbor came and destroyed what you created. That wasn't even a living thing. It's a little playhouse a dollhouse for your daughter out in the backyard. So imagine what God must feel when someone harms the people he created that are alive, that he loves, and that he goes on and on and on and on about the depth of his love, how deep it is, how powerful it is, how everlasting it is, how he goes on and lets us know that we can't even begin to understand that love because it's so huge, so big. We can't possibly even understand it. And it's pure and it's everlasting. It is a thing that will last for eternity. So imagine if he loves us so much, what he must think, what he must feel when someone hurts the people he loves. He doesn't like it. No. He doesn't even like it if the people that he loves hurt someone that's not even going to be in heaven with him. He doesn't even like that if you just go running around hurting people too. He doesn't like that either. He doesn't like it. But justice, now that he's all for justice. Now, if they did something wrong and you give them justice, put them through the process of justice, he's all for that. Definitely all for that. So it's up to government servants if they wish to have mercy or justice. Because it's already in the writing what justice, what the terms of the contract are. It's already in there. Okay, let's look at the real law, the highest law. A few of the terms of the contract that they swore to and signed to comply with and to be bound by. This right here, this little picture right here, this is from ballotpedia.org, right? Article 1. That's Connecticut Constitution, and you can go to Ballotpedia, put in Connecticut State Constitution, and then you will see this right here, this constitutional term, the term of the contract. You'll see it. Let's read it. It says, every citizen has a right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state. Look what it says. Clear as day. It doesn't have any other words saying, only if you do this, only if you do that, only if you get a license from the servants, permission from the servants, only if it's that kind of weapon or the other kind of weapon, only if it's of this make and model, only if it's only one. Look, it says every citizen, and look right here, I underlined this. Why in the world would I underline a word has? All right, that's an important word because it says every citizen has. Right now we have. Okay, right now we have because has. Every citizen has. Currently. We don't need a license because every citizen has a right to bear arms. You mean it doesn't say, but if you have a license, you have the right to bear arms. If the government servant gives you permission, you have the right to bear arms. Whatever else they want to say, if this and this, if this, if that, then you'll have the right to bear arms. No, it doesn't say that. Well, we're starting a new age in life, and in this modern time, and from now on, since we're so advanced in our thinking, and we all determined, and the scientists determined, and we know what's better for you than you do, and we say so because we're the servants that forgot that we're servants, and we think we're masters of the people. We say you can only bear arms if we tell you you have the right to bear arms. Only if you listen to us and you give us the fees required for us to give you a license, and you'll have to pay it every certain time, and we'll tax you to death because you have arms. We're going to tax you to death. Take all your money as much as we can, so you'll say, never mind, I don't want to have, it's too expensive. I can't afford to bear arms. It's too expensive. I guess I won't. I guess I'll leave that right that I have and not bear arms because I can't afford it. If they make it so it's unaffordable, that's exactly the same thing as taking your right away, attacking your right. It's exactly the same thing because they made it so the outcome is the same. You don't have that right. It was taken away because of taxes. It was taken away because of license fees. It was taken away because it wasn't the type of arm that they like or approve of or prefer from that their buddy, the manufacturer of those arms, makes. And they want you to use that kind and not the other guy that's not their friend. Whatever reason, any reason. There can be no reasons. It's already guaranteed. Every citizen right now has a right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state. And guess what? If you really truly want to defend yourself and your state, well, are you just going to use it on the day you need to defend yourself and the state so that you have no clue how to use that arm? You have no clue how to aim properly, so you shoot your own family instead of the enemy that's attacking your family because you don't know how to use that gun? You have a right to practice using that weapon, those arms. You have a right to get really skillful about using them so you can go somewhere where it's safe, it's designed for safety in mind, and you point in exactly that direction while you practice, and you practice safely. Or you go somewhere where you know it's safe, or you know it's safe, and you prepare it for safety, and you make sure it cannot harm someone while you practice. It doesn't have to be in a facility. It doesn't say, oh, you can practice how to bear arms and how to use them. If you go to my friend's facility, he has a gun range. You can practice there. You cannot practice in your 20-acre backyard that you have equipped and made ready for your practice. You cannot do that. We won't allow it. Or no. We, the servants, won't allow the masters to do that. See, there's nothing here qualifying it. And guess what? And I got to tell you now, and I'm sorry, I got to tell you now. Whatever expresses your rights in the highest way, that is what you can use. Because it must benefit you the most. Because what benefits you? Because they're supposed to benefit you. That's why they were hired, to benefit you at all times. Because you're the beneficiary. What benefits you the most? Something that benefits you the most, or something that benefits you the least? It tells you right there. Oh, it's what benefits me the most is what benefits me the most. Right? All right then. So you and you, as one of the people, have equal protection under the laws and equal rights. So in this state, that state, the other state over there, hop, skip, and a jump, and there you have it. You have the same rights as any other one of the people. They over there cannot have more rights than you have. You cannot have less than they have, because you have what? It's a constitutionally guaranteed right. It's in the term of the contract. Equal rights and equal protection under the laws. Equal, the word equal, like in they can try to change the definition if they want to, but the word equal, you know what that means is, if you know basic math, you know what the word equal means. So let your eyes, read it. Do you believe your own eyes, or do you wish to only believe the lies that you have been told? This is in a state constitution. It's in Connecticut state constitution, and this is what it says. Why in the world would you go to the United States to show that you have the right to bear arms, when I'm telling you, and if you look into it, you'll discover there are a lot of pitfalls in you trying to use that. I don't know why that happened, or maybe I do, but the point is, it's not gonna help you very much. I'm telling you this, don't waste your time over there. But when you get better at knowing, when you know more, because believe me, there's a little bit more that you really have to learn, then you can go ahead and get going on that United States Constitution. But I'm telling you, for now, as you're new at this, go to the state constitutions, right? Okay, so does this term say has? Yes, it does. So why would you be harassed into court by our servants demanding you prove that you have the right to bear arms? They're wasting your time. They're wasting your money. They're ruining your happiness. They're ruining your health, because who wants to go to court and fight? That creates stress, a stressful situation. Nobody wants to do that, right? Unless there's something, if you're a unique individual, which everybody's unique, and if you like going to court and fighting for your rights and paying attorneys or doing it yourself, fighting for your rights that you already have guaranteed in our constitutions, and they already swore to protect those rights. You want to fight them over the same rights over and over and over, go through each one of them, and you like that kind of activity, I guess it doesn't create any stress on you. But the rest of the people, believe me, it creates stress. They could be enjoying their grandchildren, they could be enjoying the time on a date with their beloved. They could be going to their favorite theme park. They could be relaxing, reading their favorite book. There's so many wonderful books. Silmarillion, for example. Love that book. Okay, so for example, you could be doing a lot of things, but here you are defending your rights in court because your servants arrested you, your servants are accusing you, your servants in court, the judge is there, and it doesn't, no one that's a servant of ours, and they all have the duty and obligation to immediately, on the spot, the moment they discover that the people's rights of one of the people or the multitude of people, if their rights are being harmed, or an individual right is being harmed, or one of the people, they are to immediately stand up, do it, protect it, defend it. Sound the alarms. Get everybody on board. Wake everybody up. Wake up the president. You know what I'm talking about. Get everybody on board to defend and protect those rights. If you cannot do it by yourself, you have no clue. You better get everybody on board and tell everybody and make an announcement, public announcement that you can do, right? You love being on camera and talking. Get on that mic and start telling what's going on. That so-and-so over there, their rights are being trespassed and infringed by these government servants. Look they're being harassed. It says here they have a right to bear arms, and now they're being arrested. Now their good name is being smeared. It's in the gutter. It's full of poo-poo. It's full of dried leaves and twigs mixed with poo-poo. And now we got to hurry up and protect their rights. We got to hurry up and restore their rights and make sure that their redress of grievance, they have that, and they're happy again, and they stop crying, and their kids can stop having nightmares. Believe me, when they harm you, some particular harms are worse than others. Some harms are so devastating. They create nightmares for people. People are constantly having nightmares. They can't sleep. Their health goes down. It's a long-lasting, life-lasting thing, depending on what they harm. And depending on the people they harm, because everyone has a different ability and strength. Some are emotional, some are fragile, some are sensitive. And if you hurt them like that, well, they can't get over it. They're embarrassed if you smear their name. They're embarrassed. They got arrested. That is humiliating. That's humiliating. Oh my gosh. Now they went to a prison while you read them their rights and processed them and all that. And they got raped in the freaking, jail or beat up. They can't get over that. Our government has to redress all the people's grievances, all the harms the people have endured and gone through because of unfaithful servants attacking them, themselves or through others. Because a lot of the sneaky ones, they're so good at attacking the people. The sneaky ones, they like to create a corporation and let them attack the people's rights and say, I don't know why they're doing that. There's nothing I can do. Oh no, I can't do a thing. They're attacking you, but what can I do about that? I know it's wrong. But we already chartered them. We already gave them the license. They're on their own. What can I do? You can remove their charter. You can take away their license, and then you can prosecute them for harming the people. And then you can restore the people by giving them redress of their grievances. All right? If you don't want to do it, then you're in breach of the trust. Because to not want to do it, to not defend, protect the people's rights, and then give them the redress of their grievances for harms done, that is treasonous. It's a breach of the trust, and it's treasonous behavior. But you will learn this. The more you read, the more you learn. You'll learn that, yes, it's maladministration, and that's the least of the problems they have, because now they're going to face, with the right conditions, they will face treason, right? With the right conditions. And you'll have to learn more to know what the right conditions are, where they get to face and now defend themselves because they're going to be accused of treason for treasonous behavior. And, we hope that doesn't have to go through that, because we want to have faithful servants that do their work faithfully and allow us to have a wonderful, happy day. We want happy days every day. We want a happy day every day. Every day we want to have happiness in our lives. As much as we can have it, we would like to have it. Happiness every day. We want to smile. We want to laugh. We want to relax. We want to exercise. We want to do it happily. We want to, be cheerful. We can't be cheerful and happy if government servants or their agencies and corporations or businesses they contract are attacking our rights. Well, how can we be happy with that if we're in court defending what we already have constitutionally guaranteed? Okay, look at this term. Okay, let me see. Oh, it's the same one, but I wanted you to look at the next one. This is the same one as that one. You'll find it in Connecticut. The reason I put it here again, because now I want you to look at the word bear. Okay, look at the word bear, to bear arms. Does it say to bear arms in a locked box? You can bear arms if your little gun, your little pistol is locked in a closed box, or it's at home. Only when your servants, give you, the master, permission. It says you can bear arms. It doesn't say you have to put it on your shoulder. It doesn't say you have to wear it on your leg. It doesn't say you have to wear it, on a certain particular spot of your body, or it doesn't say it has to be in a particular spot in a location somewhere away from you. It doesn't say that. It says you have a right to bear arms. Bear them. So go ahead and bear them. Bear the arms. You have the right to bear the arms. You just don't have the right to kill people, murder people. That's when we get, that's when whoever you harm, they have jurisdiction over you. That's when they can go ahead and have the police, the sheriff, the courts, the judges, whatever, the prisons, everybody get involved and address it. If you so don't go around harming anyone. Don't go around harming anyone. And all of those things, but what about the psychologically, believe me, a lot of the things that we've discovered when they have those school shootings, like this one guy that was already, people were already calling the FBI saying that they were already saying that they heard this gentleman say he was going to do these terrible things, and they didn't do anything about it. Why not? It's not because you're not chartered, is it? FBI? Or are you chartered? If you're chartered, that's great news. Please let us know, because otherwise there's a confusion. Some people say you're chartered. Some people say you're not chartered. Some people say they don't know if you're chartered or not. Some people would like to know if you're chartered. There has been FOIA requests asking if you have a charter. They want to know, hey, government servants, we would like to know if the FBI and all the agencies are properly chartered. That means given authority to exist. Written authority to exist, with the explanation of exactly what are their duties and obligations. What are they hired to do? What is their job? We want to know. We want to know if it's safe for us. We want to know if it's safe for us. Right now, I don't know. We don't know unless you gotta see. We have a right to have an accounting from our government servants. We have a right to know, to look into their records, to find out. We have a right. We have a right. So, let's see if I read this part. Does it say only with a license where you pay them or pay one of the agencies they chartered license for the license they give you? Remember, they swore to defend and protect your rights, so they cannot charter an entity and let them attack your constitutionally guaranteed rights. It clearly says has a right to bear arms. It does not limit the type of arms either. They try to limit it, but it says has, it says bear the arms, and it's plural arms. Multiple arms. You can have as many, you can have one, or you can have 1,000. Just don't go murdering people. That's where everybody jumps in and says, no, you can't do that. And everybody can jump in and stop you from murdering others, because they have defense of himself and the state. And believe me, to defend yourself is very important. And to defend your family is defending yourself, because you'd be miserable if they shoot your wife, they shoot your husband, if they do that. You'd be miserable. So you have a right to defend yourself, right? If they start shooting your cousins and your neighbors and your uncles and all those people you care about. And even random people that just because you're really a good human and you care about them and you care about them, right? You don't want them hurt. So you see someone's about to be hurt, you can stop them from hurting another human, from murdering. All right. Here, believe me, it's worth it. Just if you see this video in pieces and sections and moments of time while you're doing your dishes, while you're sweeping, while you're doing something to the car, whatever, just see this, listen to this, look at the evidence, the proof that you need to have. It's worth it to you because you want to live free and you want to be safe you want to be safe and your family to be safe. So it's worth knowing this. Unless you're already way ahead of the game and you know this, so don't bother at that point. Just go watch some more advanced information. But if you're new at this and this is all new to you, please pay attention. It's worth for you to learn this. Okay, so this is what I did. So I showed another one. This one is Delaware. Believe me, I have a what I did for me and for my family. I take things like, say, the word bear arms, and I create a document of all the constitutions, and I put everything that talks about bear arms in that document. So I can see, how does this state, how do they speak about bearing arms? What do they say? What does that state over there say about bearing arms? I like to know. So I have documents like that, like ex post facto laws. I have things, that talk about due process. I have things about, there's different things, freedom, all political power. I have things like that because I want to know how the other states wrote those things, and I want to look at that topic quickly and find them all there. So that's what I do, and this is another one. And believe me, look at every single state constitution. You'll read something about bear arms. I think there's maybe just one, possibly two. I think it's just one, but anyway, possibly two that don't have the words bear arms, but I have to double check that. So let's read Delaware, Article 1. Look at it, Ballotpedia. Thank you, Ballotpedia. We hope you get a lot of people going to your website and going and reading the constitutions there. You did a great job putting them there for the people to read. As far as I can see, it's a great job. Thank you. Okay, everybody, go over there to Ballotpedia. Take a look at that. This is text of Section 20, right to keep and bear arms. This one says a person. See, you've seen the word a citizen has the right to bear arms. Now you're seeing a person has the right to keep and bear arms. This one says the people shall have a right to bear arms. See that? Okay? So there are differences, but they're all generally saying things similarly. So now it's up to you which one of them you like best. And even if you're in Idaho, if you're in Nevada, if you're in Kentucky, if wherever you are, you can pick and choose which one you want to use to express your rights. Or you can go ahead and properly give notice to the government and show that you have these other particular rights to yourself, because you have individual rights and you have rights that are enumerated. That means written in the list. And since there was so many rights, there are things that they already agreed to defend and protect that are not enumerated. It means you have the rights that are not even written down. So you can just say, oh, by the way, regarding arms, bearing arms, these are my rights regarding bearing arms. So don't bother me about that because it's my individual right. And you go ahead and write it. Give them proper notice. You have rights, and you don't have right to harm another. That's where you don't have right. And everybody can jump in and address you. Stop you from murdering anyone. See? So it is. So look at this one, says a person has the right to keep and bear arms for the defense of self, family, home, and state, and for hunting and recreational use. Well, yeah, this one has a few more words, doesn't it? And hey, this is a constitutional term, a contract term, a trust indenture term, a compact term, and it's guaranteed, constitutionally guaranteed. So this one says you have a right to keep and bear arms, just to make sure not only can you bear them, you can keep them wherever. You can keep them at your house, you can keep them in your car, you can keep them in your ankle, you can keep them on your hat. It doesn't say you can't. Does it say that you can't keep it on your hat? Does it say you can't keep it on your ankle? Does it say you can't keep it in your house, wherever you want? Does it say, look, you tell me, let your eyes look at the words and read them, and you tell me, what does it say in writing? Because the law has to be written. It can't be a vapor in the imagination, some fantastical world in another universe. It has to be written down. Okay? This one. Only things not written down are your inherent rights. Those are, you can't write those, all of those down, because there are too many. So the only things that are not written down. All else, it has to be written down so they know what to do, and we know what they must do. So here it says defense of self, that's you, family, that's all. Family, as home, okay, your house, your property, right? And the state, remember that the state, the words have more than one meaning. Well, the word state has more than one meaning, and you can look it up, and I've gone over it already in other videos, and I will go, do as much as I can to go over it again. But you look it up. Look, Black's Law, 4th and 5th. Look it up. Just look it up everywhere where you can. Look in the legislature what the meanings that they have for the word state, and you'll see they have various meanings. And one is the geography, the state, right? But there's also state. The people themselves are the state. The citizens, the group of citizens, they're the state. That's also them. It's them. But remember, the citizens are the people. The citizens are the people that walked in voluntarily into the society and are now benefiting from all the wonderful things that the government's doing to benefit us. And they better benefit us and not harm us. And so they're the ones sipping the pina colada, like I keep saying, sitting on the hammock. They're the citizen. But just because you're sitting in a hammock, sipping on a pina colada, doesn't mean that you're not you. You're still you. And you're benefiting sitting in that hammock and benefiting sipping on the pina colada, benefiting with a clean beach with beautiful, everything's really nicely placed in the beach. It's so beautiful. You're benefiting from that, right? Well, you haven't stopped being yourself. You're still one of the people. You're still a trust protector. You're still the head honcho, the boss, the top, the master, the boss, the owner of all government. And if they misbehave and while you're sipping your pina colada and a servant starts harassing your friends and becoming a nuisance of themselves, harassing your friends, trying to arrest them because whatever reason they want to arrest them for, they've now interrupted your happiness, which is constitutionally guaranteed. They cannot do that. They cannot interrupt your happiness. When they're harming others, they're also harming you. Because it's interrupting. When you're reading the news, you want to really read the news of all the terrible things the government servants are doing to other people. That ruins the day. It's terrible. Dinner conversation and bedtime conversation. It's terrible. It'd be better to talk about wonderful things. Oh, this wonderful thing happened today. Oh, did you hear how that they did this wonderful thing over there, and now we get to do this wonderful thing over here, and oh, that's so fantastic. Well, I'd rather have that kind of conversation. See? So I'm just telling you this, that you have the right, so many rights, so many rights. And with your arms that you have a right to have already, it says here, where do you see where it says that if you get a license? Where does it say that? A person has a right to keep and bear arms for the defense of self, family, home, and state, and for hunting and recreational use. Recreational use, because I mean, hey, when you're practicing how to be a good marksman, how to shoot accurately and hit the target in the right spot, so when you do use it to defend your family and yourself and all this, that you know that where you're pointing, that is where it's going to go, and you know how to hold the trigger and do it right, and all these things that go into doing it right. Well, it could be fun, because people like to have fun. God created us to have fun. We like that. Fun is fun. So of course they're going to want to do recreational use. Of course they're going to want to use it for recreational use. It's fun. Why can't they go and do with their friends in a properly situated location where it's safe, where they checked it out, it's safe for others, they're not going to go accidentally shooting anyone, and they practice and they try to see if they can shoot the target just right, and they all enjoy a good time together, recreational use. I don't see anything wrong with that. But even if I did see something wrong with it, I would have to put a sock in my mouth, because it's already a constitutionally guaranteed term, right? And it benefits the people. Now, if something in the Constitution does not benefit the people, we the people, as trust protectors and as the people with all political power, we have a right to go ahead and change whatever part of the Constitution we need to change to make it better, to make it more clear, to make it benefit us better. And government servants don't have that right. The people do. And just by the way, as on a side note, if you believe that our elections are to form and have been done to form, great. But if you are the other people that you're wondering, you want to know if they were done to form. You wonder also if the constitutions, some of the amendments, some of the writing, if they were done according to the people's true wishes or not. But even if they were, and if you look, this doesn't benefit us the way it's written, and we need to make sure we write with more clarity. And you can always, you have a right together to come assemble together and consult together and make something better, where it protects even more, where it benefits even more. But you can never make it protect less or benefit less. Never. You can never go backwards in the protection or backwards in the benefits. You can always go forward into more benefit, more protection. And that's the people with all political power, the ones that created we're the people. We're the creators of government. We're the ones that they are right now. They derive the power that they have from us. That's where it originates right now. Because we're here now, and they're there now, and they're getting that power from us right now. And so there it is. So here's another one. This is Indiana. This one says, the people shall have a right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and the state. So this one has, less words, but this one has the word the people. This one has the word person, but this one has more things: self, family, home, state, hunting, recreational use. So you have a right to pick whichever one you want, or even two of them, to say, well, look, I'm one of the people, and I want to go have recreational use for my weapons. I want to practice my weapons. I have a right to practice them. This is what shows it. So don't bother me and interrupt my happiness. Don't nag me. Don't send your police untrained and not knowing the law what it is they're arresting you for, because you ask them, well, what law are you using to arrest me? What's they don't really know. Well, I guess we're supposed to arrest you for this. Yeah, it says so somewhere. I'm sure it says so somewhere. Somewhere it should say so. We can arrest you. Ooh, they're just randomly, recklessly, wantonly just arresting people, not knowing what the true law is. Well, who's training them? Because they're in real big trouble training them all wrong, teaching them the wrong thing. Who's doing that? Who's training the police wrong? Who's training the government servants wrong? Who's misdirecting them and teaching them that it's okay to harm the people and attack the people's constitutionally guaranteed rights? Who's doing that? Ooh, I'm going to tell on you. Okay, quick note. Citizens are the beneficiaries of the written constitutions and are to benefit by all government workers' orderly, lawful, accountable, faithful conduct at all times. No outlaws allowed, no unlawful anything allowed, no servants in breach of trust. See, no breaching of the trust allowed. That means breaking the contract. That means they are not fulfilling, complying with the terms of the contract they swore to. That's not allowed because we're supposed to benefit from what? We have to have an orderly government. We have to have a lawful government. We have to have accountable government. We have to have faithful government and faithful conduct by our government servants. We have the right to these things. It's in the contract. They already agreed to it. So little, that's what you have. That's what they agreed to. And just by the way, lawful means staying within the written law, right? Okay. Accountable, they are accountable. Not only do we get to see their records and we get to see full accounting, whatever we need to know and have an accounting of, but they're also accountable legally for their conduct if they harm us. Okay, and you know what faithful is? You know, it's opposite of an unfaithful, like a husband or wife that's unfaithful, cheater. You know what that is, right? A wife that cheats or a husband that cheats, that's unfaithful. We don't want the government servants to be unfaithful to the people because they swore the oath and they are supposed to keep and comply with all terms. So now you know. Now you know. Okay, so let's just go over this. They may only use those few powers as we commanded them, right? Or else that permission is dissolved instantly upon them going outside their granted authority. For example, okay, see, they dissolve. So if we granted them a few limited powers, authority to accomplish, to get done those particular things we hired them to do, then that is what they can use them for. They cannot misuse them for anything. They cannot go outside and beyond all that, because the moment they go outside the line, the moment they go outside the written law, they are now dissolved. They are no longer our servants. They are now just people using the positions, our government, using our seats of office for their own benefit, because they're going outside the law. They cannot go outside the law at any time. That's the time they dissolve themselves, because when they go outside the law, they are a danger to all the people. You see, we cannot have servants that willy-nilly just go outside the law like that. That's dangerous to the people, because they're wielding our very powerful powers and authority. They can harm us so badly, devastate the lives of many of the people. That cannot be tolerated, and it isn't tolerated. They lose their seats of office when they go outside the law. If you see any government servant that is outside the law doing random things that are not authorized, that's why you have to know the terms of the contract, so that you can identify quickly what it is they're doing that is within the law, what it is they're doing that is outside of the law. And once they're outside of the law, they're out of there. They're out of there. You can call them out. Hey, you went outside the law. You were not authorized. You can show it to them. And you can prove it right there in proper notice and affidavit. Prove it to them. This is what you did. This is what the term says that you're authorized to do, but this is what you did. You did do this. That's outside the law. you can no longer work for us ever. Because once they don't stay within the law, they're just randomly doing whatever they want. What in the world are they following? Who are they listening to? Who is their true master? That means we're not the master in their hearts. We're not the master in their minds. Someone else is their master. They're serving a different master than the people when they go outside the law. That's not allowed. And we wrote it in the contract. They can be removed for the simplest thing, maladministration, for being inadequate for that job, for being a danger to the people, for going outside the law. And all the other stuff will get addressed after that. But the first thing you address, hey, they went outside authority of law. They did this when they had no authority to do that, because they cannot show me where they got that authority. Where did you get that authority to do what you just did? Where'd you get it from? The devil? The pit of hell? Where'd you get it from? How is it that you are attacking the people? Who gave you that authority? Because we didn't. Okay, their seat of office is not theirs to sit in, to use. Their existence as our servants depends on their complying fully to the written commands in the contract. Now, tricksy government servants prefer to use the word person because it gives them the advantage and opportunity to say they mistook you to be a government personnel, that they have the power over. They do not have power over the people. That is why you should get into the habit of referring to yourself as one of the people. Okay? That is why you should do it, so that you are not mistakenly taken for a government personnel. And the government personnel, that's who they have the authority over. That's who they govern. They govern the ones in the higher positions in government. They govern the other ones with their legislative writing. They tell them what to do, when to do it, when to punch in, when to punch out. They tell them what uniform to wear, when their lunch hour is. They govern them. They don't tell us what time to eat lunch and what uniform to wear. They better not. They're not authorized to do that. See, that's why you need to get in the habit of referring to yourself as one of the people, so they don't have an opportunity to mistake you for one of them, where they get to control you. How can they argue with that? The word people scares unfaithful servants silly, especially when you know your rights and authority, and you know their duties and obligations to the people, and you know how to show them you know. You have individual rights to bear arms. You read it. You saw it with your own eyes. Believe your eyes. Believe your mind. Furthermore, I like that word. Do you like that word? Furthermore, you have equal rights with other people in all states, and you have the right of equal protection under the laws of those rights. Servants are not to disturb your happiness or being in government hired to, being in government hired to protect your rights, and then use pretended authority to attack your rights. Hire or contract with others to attack your rights for them by arresting you, making you go to court to prove you have that right, because they should already know you have that right. They also have the contract term to protect your happiness. So what does that also mean for the people? The police, the sheriffs, judges, senators, representatives, court clerks, president, attorney generals, governors, janitors that are working in government, and all the rest of government personnel, and all they contract with, and all the agencies, corporations, and businesses chartered or licensed to work with our nation may not attack the people's constitutionally guaranteed rights. There are strong penalties in place for those in breach of trust. So you see, they can't attack your rights. They can't do it themselves. They can't do it through others. I love that. That's fantastic. Okay, let's look at the contract term. This one is from, you can look again in Ballotpedia. This is New Hampshire Constitution. And I just want to show you, very important, that we have the right to have a lawful government that stays within the law. And how in the world, you see, everything they do has to be with written authority. So right now they're selling the idea, some bad, unfaithful government servants are selling the idea to the people, persuading them, convincing them, drilling it in their heads that they really can do anything as long as it's not prohibited. Hey, you didn't say we couldn't do that, so we're going to do that. It's like you hire a cook to come to your house because you're not feeling well, you have kids, you want to make sure they have fresh food made at home and not go to the the restaurants, fast food places. So you hire someone to come and just make lunch and dinner. You tackle breakfast as best you can because you're sick. So and then they come, and then they do other stuff. They book some parties in your backyard. They start painting your. They don't like the color of your walls, so they start painting the walls, and they use the money. They use your money to do it, etc. That's not what you hired them to do. You could ask them, where? I didn't hire you to do that. Show me where it says I hired you to do what you're doing, booking parties in my backyard, painting the walls different color, doing all these variety of things, sleeping on my bed, sitting on my chair, eating my porridge. Who gave you that authority? Who did? You got to show it to me in writing. That's why things have to be in writing, because the type of power that our government servants are wielding, they're awesome powers. They're terrible powers if they're misused. You gotta be careful. We've got to be careful. We were careful. We wrote, they have to be lawful. In everything they do, they must be lawful. We don't allow unlawful servants. So the moment they are unlawful, they're no longer our servants. They're out of there. Look what it says here. All power residing originally in and being derived from the people, all the magistrates and officers of government are their substitutes and agents, and at all times accountable to them. Let's go over that part. All power. See, there's more power than goes to the government servants. We have all power. All of it is ours. They have none. They only have the limited specific amount we granted them. Okay, so it's originally with us, then we let them have it by grant to use it for the purposes we are granting them to use it for. So you see, they exist and can be our servants as long as they comply, as long as they are lawful. They have to stay within the written law of the contract, of our constitutions, right? Of the trust indenture, of the compact. That's when they can exist as servants. They step out of that, whoop, they dissolve. They are no longer our servants. If a governor does it, goes outside the law, the written law, the authority of law, the granted law, if they go outside our constitutions and do whatever they wish to do, light bulb goes in their head and they want to do that, they can't do their will. It has to be our will only. So when they do that, they're no longer the governor. They could still, because the people do not know this fact, they consider them still the governor or the senator or whatever, the janitor, whatever. See, they consider them still as, in those positions of authority, right? But they're no longer there because they ended it by stepping outside their authority. They ended it. They quit. They abandoned their position. They abandon their position when they step out of that position and do things that are not authorized. Things that are not authorized by the people. It must be authorized by the people, not by other servants. Other servants are servants. They're not above the people. Nothing comes from them. Everything comes from the people. So that's why I want to make sure it's all power residing originally in and being derived from the people. All the magistrates and officers of government are their substitute agents and at all time accountable to them. They're a bunch of words: magistrates, officers of government, public officers, servants, magistrates, right? All those words, servants. That's all their names. They're all magistrates, they're all officers, they're all public officers, they're all officers of government, they're all substitutes, they're all agents, they're all servants, they're all trustees. See, that's the government workers, the servants, that's what they are. Don't get intimidated by the word magistrates. Officers, they're servants. Remember that robot with the apron? Look at them with the feather duster. See them as your servants, because that's what they are, and they can't get bloated heads thinking they're your masters. That's not good. All right, and because they're your substitutes, see, that's like you there doing the work on your behalf, for your benefit, for each one of us, and for all of us. And see, at all times, it doesn't mean only on certain days or at certain times or hours of the day. It's at all times they are accountable to them. To who? To the people. To them, to the people. Look, the people. To them, the people. So, accountable? Yes, accountable. In other words, if they do something that's not authorized and they harm you with it, they're personally liable for that. And there's nothing they could do. There's no, like, they can't say, oh, bankruptcy, but I can't restore your grievance. I can't give you grievance, to restore you back as though I never hurt you, because I'm in bankrupt. I'm going to hide all my assets. They can't do that. They're not allowed to do that when they harm the people. That's why I don't, they all flock. They want to be servants of the people, but they forget to read the contract and forget that there are steep penalties there. And if they harm the people, they have to restore the people as though they were never harmed personally. And if the personal part is not enough, the government has to make sure it has to come from where, the government itself, the money the people put in, and the money directly from the culprit, the one that did the harming. But it has to be enough to satisfy that wrong, that particular wrong. It has to be enough. If they, like, say if they took your car, well, they got to restore that car, or an equivalent to that car you had. And let's not forget the time that you lost because you didn't have that car. Let's not forget all the losses that you sustained because you didn't have the car. You couldn't take that special someone on a date. They saw you like, hey, I'm not gonna date you. Can't even have a car. You don't even have a car. You're a deadbeat. And you were not a deadbeat. You were just someone whose car was taken against the law, against our constitutional rights. Your car was taken from you. Your rights were trespassed. You were not a deadbeat. You had a car and they took it. They weren't supposed to take it. And I've spoken to you about this in other videos of how the way you know if anytime they want to take something from you, there has to be a court of record, there has to be constitutional process, there has to be a jury of your peers, and it has to be at no charge to you. No charge at all. That's right. They want to take it from you, they have to prove that. Why are they taking it? What wrong did you do? They have to prove it, and then you have a right to show your evidence. Anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. So see, they're your substitutes. They has to be lawful. That's why they're accountable and they're responsive. They have to respond. Responsive. Respond. They have to respond. If you give them proper notice, they have to respond to your questions and be responsive to your redress of grievances and give you that redress of grievances. Restore your car. Restore your children if they've been taken. Restore your kitty cat. Restore your house. Restore your land. Restore your fancy outfit. Your gun collection. Restore your fancy shoes. Whatever it was they took from you, your jewelry, your time. Oh my gosh, that's important too, because we have limited time here on earth, don't we? And we want to spend it with our loved ones, not with goofy goobers, not with goofballs they can't read what they swear to defend and protect. We don't want to spend time with them. We want to spend it with our loved ones. That's what we want to spend our time with. So they're accountable for all that. And they're responsive. They better not ignore you. If they ignore you, now they're going against the contract, because it says here in the contract that they have to be responsive. If they're not responsive, that's against the contract. Do you see that? Is it clicking bigly, nicely? See? And now it says, to that end, the public's right of access. Remember the publics? They also call us the publics. They call us citizens, like that. But we are the people. We have, as the people, the trust protectors, we really have all our powers. They better give us a full accounting. We have a right to access. It says here, public's right of access to governmental proceedings. Oh, a right to access governmental proceedings? I mean, we can access that? Oh, why are they telling us we can't access the governmental proceedings? Why are they keeping things in secret away from the people? What the heck is... are they not reading this constitutional contract? And also we have the right to access records. The records, see? What have you been spending our money on? Also, do you have the right to be taking the money that you've been taking from us? Is that somewhere in some constitutional authority? Can you please show it to us? Because we've been giving the government a lot of our money. Is that something we authorized? Let's look into that, shall we? It says here, and shall not be unreasonably restricted. And careful what it says, unreasonably restricted. In other words, if we want to look at some, well, we'll get into this later, because otherwise I'm going to bog down. But this one's really worth looking into, unreasonably restricted. What's worth looking into, and we will. Oh, we will, God willing. Yeah. Now, I want to get to this part. The public, citizens, right? Definitely trust protectors, right? See, the public also has right now, has a right to an orderly, lawful, and accountable government. Orderly, in other words, if there's elections and there's a proper form that needs to be followed in those elections, it has to be orderly. They can't randomly and whateverly, do things because they feel like it, because they want to call something an emergency. They can hire whatever scientific anyone they want and call anything an emergency. Call anything. That we made sure, no, it doesn't say here unless there's an emergency of this nature or that nature. No, it doesn't say that. We have a right to an orderly government. Like if we say, okay, legislature, you are the ones to legislate. And not only that, Congress, there's going to be a Senate. It's going to be divided into two. It's going to be a Senate. And then the other one is going to be the House of Representatives. And you all are the ones that legislate. And that has to be orderly done, methodically done, where we can follow it and understand in a language we understand, in a writing that we understand, in proper form, and with only the people authorized to do it. See, that's orderly. That's orderly. That's orderly. There are many things we can go on and talk about that. It has to be orderly, right? The courts, for example, and then I'll go on to the other one. The courts, for example, that has to be orderly, right? In other words, you get to go in there. You if you have a need, a controversy you would wish to address, to go ahead and take care of in using the courts, that is guaranteed to be free to you, without sale, without purchase, without being obliged to purchase it. They have it in many ways. They state it in so many ways in our constitutions because we want to make it really clear. You can't be charged for that. It's free. Walk in there, it's free. Free to you. Because we want to make sure that the happiness is not interrupted. And if someone has a controversy, they need to quickly address it free because, hey, if some people are poor or they don't have as much money as others, well, they have the constitutionally guaranteed right too. And to use the courts. And they need it free. They can't afford it. So everybody gets it free, uniformly free. And that's orderly. And then there's a time and there's a way to do it. It has to be orderly. No secret courts. That's orderly. They obey things orderly. There's a way you can follow and understand. The procedures must be written out clearly. First is this, then we do that, then we go on to the evidence, and then we go on to this. And so you can follow it orderly. Oh, I get the order of things. This is what you do first. This is the second thing. So it's really, really, really simple for the people. We want simplicity. We want simplicity because all of the people are not university students or graduates. All of the people are not educated or have the mental ability that everyone else has. It's for various different mental abilities and knowledge and understanding, and it has to be orderly and it has to be simple so that it's clear. That's why it's in order. Follow the order. This right here, it's in alphabetical order. That room over there, this is where we do this. This over here, and when you go to court, these are the steps. This is what's going to happen, and this is how this happens in this particular order, and everyone can see exactly what's going on, and there's no secret meetings between our servants in closed chamber doors with no transcript and no recording of what in the world they're talking about. So there's order. It has to be lawful. Lawful. Remember that word, okay? Because they demand that we be lawful, but they don't demand that they themselves be lawful? This silly McGillicuddies. And accountable government, I like that, accountable government. We get to hold them to account in many ways. And this you can read yourself. This is really regarding a whole different topic. See, look at, I'm going to read it fast, just so you can see it's a different topic than the one I'm addressing here. Therefore, any individual taxpayer eligible to vote in the state shall have standing to petition the Superior Court to declare whether the state or political subdivision in which the taxpayer resides has spent or has approved spending public funds in violation of a law, ordinance, or constitutional provision. In such case, the taxpayer shall not have to demonstrate that his or her personal rights were impaired or prejudiced beyond his or her status as a taxpayer. However, this right shall not apply when the challenged governmental action is the subject of a judicial or administrative decision from which there is a right of appeal by statute or otherwise by the parties to that proceeding. See, this is a different topic for a different day that we have. The only thing that I could say here is that they acknowledge there's this word, you're going to need it, status. The people have different statuses, right? And as a citizen, you have a status as a taxpayer, and we'll talk about this later, because first of all, as a taxpayer, we really want to know what taxes we are truly obligated to pay and which ones we're not obligated to pay, because I noticed that taxes keep going up and more reasons for taxes keep appearing. They keep writing legislation that allows for more and more and more taxes to be collected from the people by our servants. Did those ideas come from the people or from the servants? Because remember, servants cannot do things to the people that are not authorized by the people. You got to remember that. Okay? So, we're going to move on. So if one of the people in one state has a beautiful, clearly written right that you wish to use to express your inherent rights, then you can use it because it is your right too. The one that expresses it in a way that gives you the fullest benefit is the one that you use. You may, at any time you wish, also give them notice of any other rights you have. They swore to defend and protect those non-enumerated rights too. And I remember this, because this is worth noticing. Public also has a right to an orderly, lawful, and accountable government. Servants, better listen. Lawful government. Okay, is it getting in your head? Are you understanding that? Hello? Hello? Is anybody in there? Okay, understand it. The people have a constitutionally guaranteed right to a lawful government. And if they're not lawful, accountable government. There must be an accounting. What did that unlawful government servant do? See, I have to obey commands or I will be a dangerous robot. Yep, yep, yep. Is it lawful or is it unlawful to go and do things without authority of law? Can you answer that question? Huh? Can you answer that question? The contract contains the law. They all must be law-abiding, or they are out of there. They are authorityless. They are powerless. Outlaws. Servants in breach of trust are a danger to all the people. They lose all authority the people granted to them, and they lose their positions. At the moment they go beyond authority, the minute that nice government servant that we thought was nice does things outside the law. Hey, don't criminals do things that are outside the law? Isn't that what we call someone that does things outside the law? Don't we call them criminals? Huh. When government servants do things outside the law, they lose all their authority to work for the people. See, this is a dangerous robot. This is a dangerous robot. This is someone that is corrupted and a danger to the people. The robots, if we had robots and they had a glitch in the system, we would shut them down and not let them, use their electricity or run around, or their fuel, doing terrible things, and start shooting their weapons everywhere, all random and, glitchy. We wouldn't allow that. We'd turn that thing off. If we had a government servant doing things outside the law, benefiting themselves and their cronies and their buddies, well, we wouldn't allow that either, and we didn't. We don't allow corrupt government servants. No, we don't. And our government servants better keep their eyes wide open, because they're closer to paying attention than we are, because they're right there next to everyone. They better pay attention to the other ones. Make sure that no one there is doing things outside the authority of law, outside the contract they swore to. They better make sure that all their buddies, hey, buddy, did you read the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Rights of all the constitutions, the old ones and the new ones? Because, jeepers, I just found out that's exactly what we swore to protect. We better start doing it. I don't want to be found unfaithful. We want to be found faithful. We want to be faithful servants. So let's start reading this so we know what to protect. And the people will see that we are good servants, faithful servants, and that we are complying with every term of the written contract, not the unwritten, the one that they make up. We're the only ones that have unwritten laws, because we have inherent rights that are not written, and they swore to protect those. But all the other things written, they have to abide by that, obey that, comply with that. See? Do you want a government servant that has horns and starts attacking you? Attacking you? I don't. Come, learn how to let them know about your rights and if they have been trespassed, how to get redress for those grievances. Grievances are your harms. They are how you've been harmed, the wrongs you suffered. I made a typo. Did you notice that? Don't notice the typo. Okay, the wrongs you suffered because of unfaithful servants doing something prohibitory in the contract or failing to do something mandatory in the contract. That is why they must obey the written law, not whatever they wish to do. That is wishy-washy and not lawful. Okay, learn more with Dave Jose at the symbol at Real Dave Cares, the number 4, the letter U, as you can see it, on Rumble, Odyssey, X, Telegram, and many more. I think he's on TikTok also, or TikTok. Yeah, I'm afraid of TikTok, but he's on TikTok. He's brave like that. But I think is it Chinese made? I'm allergic to Chinese made objects and things and companies. I'm allergic to that, so I try not to use them. I sneeze if I use their products. Okay, study all the hundreds of free videos. I am one of many people using my authority and powers to let the rest of the people know the truth. I am one of many simply spreading the word of what Dave Jose taught us, proved to us. Our freedoms depend on all of us knowing, so please spread the word. Thank you. And I have a little bit of graffiti right here. Ooh, lawful government. Ooh, look at this. There have to be a lawful government, guys. Oh, no lawyers needed for the people to use their full powers and authority. Nope. No lawyers needed. No lawyers needed for the people to use their full powers and authority. No, thank you. God bless you. God protect you. God bless us. God protect us. Thank you for listening.